Welcome back to We Be Kids again. My name's Danny, I'm one of the founders at We Be Kids. I'm an outdoor educator and I'm also a storyteller. If it's your first time over at We Be Kids, know that there are over 250 free activities that you can do to help boost your well-being. We have activities in nature art and nature craft, we have nature activities, we have over 60 stories, and we also have a section on yoga and mindfulness. Today, on this beautiful, wild and windy day, I've come up to the woods to tell you a little story. And I thought it'd be a lovely day to tell this story because it uses some props that work really, really well in the wind. So this story is called How the Birds Got Their Colour. And did you know that way, way, way back, when the whole of the world and all of the creatures that live on it were being created, the birds were all created black and white, or a mixture of both. And it was like this for many, 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 many years. Until finally the day came when Mother Nature decided that all the birds should have a colour of their own. So she called the wind in and she whispered to the wind and she said, "Wind, send a message across the entire world that today is the day when I will paint the birds. Ask the birds to come and I will give them whatever colour they would like." And the wind took off and it swirled and it whirled and it whipped and it covered across the land. And every time it arrived at a bird, it whispered in its ear, "Today is the day. Mother Nature is painting the birds. Go to the great forest." And Mother Nature sat and waited. But as the day went on, the birds started to arrive. And they created a huge line that went through the trees. And one by one, they came to the front. And one by one, Mother Nature said to the birds, "What colour would you like to be?" And first of all came a little finch. And this little finch hopped along. It had a little stubby beak. And Mother Nature looked down and said, "Little finch, what colour would you like to be?" And the finch looked around at all the glorious green grass and the green leaves and it said, "Mother Nature, I would like to be painted green." So Mother Nature went into her bag of colours and she pulled out green and she painted and painted and painted. And when the finch was finished, she said, "From now on you will be green finch." And the green finch flew away. And the next bird up, it came hopping in. It was a little bird with a tiny little pointed beak. And Mother Nature looked at this little bird and she said, "Oh, you are from the family of the tits." And the bird said, "Yes, yes, yes, but there are so many of us." She said, "Well, how would you like to be different to the others?" And the bird said, "I would love you to paint me blue and call me the blue tit." So Mother Nature reached in her bag of colours and she pulled out a beautiful blue and she painted the little bird blue. She said, "From now on, you will be the blue tit." And the little bird took to the sky, flew away. So Mother Nature called, "Whoever's next, whoever is next." And next was the swan. And the swan came along and said, "Whatever is going on here?" And Mother Nature said, "I am painting all the birds. What colour would you like to be?" And the swan looked around with its big neck and said, "Well, I am quite splendid in the way that I already am, so I don't need painting." And it turned and it waddled off. And that's why the swan has remained black and white. So Mother Nature called on the next bird. She said, who's coming next? And next a bird came swooping down from the top of the tree. And the bird said, I spend a lot of my time by the river. I'm always looking for fish and I want to have a beautiful colour, but one won't do. I need more than one colour. So Mother Nature reached in and she pulled out some blue and orange. She said, bird that fishes in the river, you shall be painted these regal colours and we will call you the Kingfisher. And she painted the bird. Oh, and the bird was very, very happy. And it took to the sky. And next Mother Nature watched as another little bird came hopping in. And this bird was totally, totally black. And the bird hopped along and said, I am the blackbird. They all call me the blackbird, but I want some colour. Could you maybe just paint me a little golden beak? So Mother Nature looked in her little bag and she pulled out some gold. Oh, and she only needed a little bit because she only had the beak to paint. So she painted the beak, and without a word, without any hesitation, the blackbird took to the sky and was gone. And Mother Nature called on the line. She said, who is next? And next came the most unusual looking bird with big feathers on its body but long spindly legs and the most unusual hooked beak. And this bird came trotting in and said, there is no colour for me that will do me justice because I am the most beautiful of birds. And Mother Nature reached into her bag and she pulled out pink. She said, oh, flamingo, what if I was to give you this wonderful pink colour? And Mother Nature painted this bird and it was so happy with its colour that it took to the sky and was gone. And then Mother Nature looked around again and a little bird came hopping in. And this bird, Mother Nature said, oh, I see you all the time, little bird. She reached in and she got some brown and she painted the bird brown. And this little brown bird said, that just won't do. I want something a bit more regal, something that helps me stand out. So she reached in again. She pulled out some red. And the little bird said, yes, just paint my breast with that beautiful red. And Mother Nature painted this little brown bird's breast red and called it the robin. And it took to the sky and was gone. And Mother Nature looked around and it was like all the birds had finally been painted. She started packing up her things when in the long grass came a little bird. It hopped up on her knee. And Mother Nature said, oh, I only have brown paint left. So this little bird said, then just paint me brown. So she painted this little bird brown. And she said, I haven't seen you around very often. What is your name? And the bird said, I am called the Nightingale. And even though I look quite nice brown, I would love another colour too, Mother Nature. Is there anything else? And Mother Nature looked around and all the colours were gone, except for the one that she had used the smallest amount of. And that was the gold. She reached in and she pulled out the gold. She said, little Nightingale, all I have is this little bit of gold that's left. And the Nightingale said, oh, paint me gold, paint me gold, paint me gold. And it got really, really, really excited. And it started jumping around. And as it jumped around, Mother Nature dropped the gold. And a little bit of it fell into the mouth of the Nightingale. And that is why today when we see the Nightingale, it isn't gold. It has quite plain brown feathers. But when the Nightingale sings, it has the most beautiful and golden tune. And that is because Mother Nature dropped the gold straight in its throat. So I hope you enjoyed that story. Thank you to the wind for helping me with these props. It's a lovely little story about how all the birds got their colour, and also with that nice little twist at the end of how the nightingale got its beautiful song too. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We make all of these stories free so that you can share them and spread them all around the world, so we can learn more about nature through our stories. So thanks for stopping by at Weeby Kids, and we'll see you again sometime soon. Bye!